Hello everyone at the Schwans27 channel. This is your Lord and Savior, Vince Zampella, here to tell you about the latest update to our game, which as always includes DLC for free, something that other 10-year-old games being remastered can't say. Sure, the free map is actually just taking an old map from the first game and putting it in our new game, but that's what the fans are asking for anyway, since we did such a shit job at making vanilla maps this time around. The map is War Games, which is actually a pilot simulation, kinda like the training level from the first game, because we couldn't be bothered to cobble together an actual campaign mode for practicing the moves before you go into multiplayer. The description says that there's both city combat with buildings like Angel City and wide open spaces for Titan battles like in the Battle of Airspace Sierra, which isn't even a map from this game, but rather the previous game. I guess we were so lazy in doing DLC maps that even the descriptions were copy-pasted from the previous iteration. We are, however, creating a brand new map, but again for the live fire game mode where the maps are smaller than your dick and thus take less time to create from scratch, called Traffic, which looks like a futuristic LA in rush hour. It's too bad the only time we're putting original ideas in the game is for a game mode which only gets played because of the mixtape feature we added. As the same with previous updates, we also added a new way to punch someone in a shooter game called Shadow Boxing, but it really should be called Shadow MMA or Johnny Cage ripoff, and can be unlocked via a challenge to get 20 pilot kills while the Hollow Pilot ability is active. Rather than adding new colors of items to play dress up with, and because we don't want to nickel and dime you on the new Titan with the Prime stuff just yet, we're instead going to add a feature that should have been a thing on launch of the game since it was in the previous title. A third weapon slot is going to be added to the game such that it allows you to carry both a pistol and an anti-Titan weapon, so this way the twat waffles that decide to use the Craybar sniper can be helpful to the team in killing both Titans and pilots when they inevitably miss with their sniper shots. We're now taking the difficult choice of anti-Titan or pistol out of your hands so that this way your team doesn't get steamrolled by big-ass robots because you decide that you want to be a slayer instead of a team player. Now that's a dope rap line. Oh, and of course, instead of making the button mapping like it was in the first game, console players have to hold Y for the third slot instead of hitting a D-pad button for the anti-Titan weapon, where PC players can use 1, 2, and 3 and the mouse wheel. Other new features include more game modes. There's a new featured game mode called Free Agents, which is a take on free-for-all whereby pilots drop batteries upon death, and if you collect 3 of them, you can call in a Titan. There's also battery drops around the map for those peasants that can't get kills but can use the grappling hook to get around the map. I don't know why we picked batteries as the pickups if they don't actually help out your Titan, but we couldn't be bothered to actually make a new asset for our game. The Titan Brawl game mode, which is basically TDM with Titans only, is now going to be a permanent game mode due to fan feedback, but this time we're going to put a damage tracker on the scoreboard such that this way the only players getting shat on in the chat actually deserve it now. And for those people that are too afraid to play against a toxic community online, we added more options for private matches, like a chat box on PC, so that this way you could be really immersed in the banter. We also have the high time to kill experimental game mode, which we took feedback from on social channels and in-game metrics. In the upcoming weeks, we're also going to do something focused around aim assist for console plebs and people that aren't good enough with a keyboard and mouse and play with a controller on PC. As an excuse for being lazy, we're going to claim that it's because we're analyzing the data before determining if we need to raise the time to kill and aim assist, but God forbid we actually do anything about the ridiculous melee lunge for a one-hit kill from front. Meanwhile, we did do some minor bug fixes like patching up some map exploits, added HUD elements and capture the flag that were missing for some reason, Monarch not getting 2 smokes when using upgrade core, and the evac ship will now leave immediately when everyone is on board, unlike the experience of modern airplane travel. And Reddit has found that while the patch notes seem more barren than your sex life, there's actually some interesting changes and may have been some accidental leave-ins from the high time to kill game mode, since apparently we suck at chicken switching things like the amped weapons lasting only 30 seconds instead of until death, making it more like every other boost, the phase shift boost only having 1 charge instead of allowing people to do it twice and regen all of their health, then shit on you after you had them almost beat in the gunfight in the first place, and the effectiveness of stim has been reduced. Oh, and instead of nerfing Reapers or making them worth more points, we instead buffed the Stalkers to explode when stepped on to do a shitload of damage to your Titan, yet they're still only worth the same amount of points as a Grunt or a Spectre. In other announcements, we will be supporting the Xbox One X, aka the console that sounds like a shitty gamer tag, with 4K resolution and dynamic scaling because we already got that on PC, so it's no skin off our dicks. And in order to make up for the the paltry patch this time around. Our July update will be Donald Trump levels of huge, which includes the long-awaited return of a fan-favorite game mode, Hint Hint Wink Wink, which should have been in the game on launch to appease those people that like to run around it just out of arm's reach for hours on end, or want a PvE experience that isn't as lonely as Sad Affleck. But there are a lot of things about this game's launch that were fucked, and this is the only one that's our fault.